Not too long ago, I actually reviewed Dune by Denis Villeneuve, and I kind of gave that movie a good review, but I did have some negatives with it. After watching Planet Dune, I can safely say I have zero negatives with Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to a brand new edition where today I am continuing on with my love-hate relationship with a film company called The Asylum. And on October 29th, they released a brand new movie that is essentially made to capitalise off Denis Villeneuve's Dune, and they made Planet Dune. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Planet Dune is shown currently in the UK on the Syfy channel. Maybe US, maybe the same. I'm not entirely too sure. But I did actually watch this on YouTube for free, so I will put the link down below if you want to watch it for yourself. I don't know why you would, but if you generally do, just want to have a fun time with an absolutely awful movie, then yeah, I'll leave the link down below. Anyway, let's just get to the starters of this movie. So, came out on October 29th. It's directed by Glenn Campbell, who has actually done Adventures of Aladdin, which I haven't actually got to as of yet, but as you can imagine, it was made to capitalise off Disney's remake Aladdin in live action. Of course, in this one, we've also got Tammy Lynch, I believe I pronounced that right, who is joining them as a co-director, and she's worked on B-rate movies like the Asylum movies with Glenn Campbell, because he's mainly known for doing like visual effects, and he actually started out doing some visual effects for Buffy the Vampire Slayer and X-Files TV series, so that's maybe how he got his kind of big break into somewhat of Hollywood. And then since then, he's pretty much done B-rate movies. Now, the funniest thing that I find generally with this movie is the two directors that I've just mentioned actually worked with the writers of this movie, who is Joe Roache and Lauren Pritchard, and they've also starred and helped write other Asylum B-rate movies with the directors. So it is kind of like a group come together and they're like, right, what movie can we rip off next? Oh, well, actually, yeah, maybe one of the biggest movies of the year, our anticipated movies, Dune. Let's do it. So that is how this movie is essentially came around, or at least I'm guessing this is how it came around. Now, the movie itself stars Emily Killian, Cherish Holland, or Ramiro Leal, Anna Telfer, Manny Zaldivar, if I pronounce that correctly, and the biggest actress who's on the DVD cover, Mary Sean Young. So I don't know a lot about Mary Sean Young. I just know that she was in Blade Runner and of course the original Dune. So they've managed to get some sort of big name attached to this project, which they normally do the Asylum. They normally find some kind of big name in Hollywood and bring them on to this movie and advertise it mainly on like the movie poster or like the DVD cover to attract audience's attention. And I certainly feel like they're going to use that or capitalize that to try get some sales on Planet Dune and make it some kind of financial success. Well, what can I honestly say about Planet Dune? Where do I honestly start with this movie? I generally don't know where to start with it, because I am going to just say this. It is going to involve some spoilers. So if you want to check out this movie for yourself, maybe check out the link down below and then come back and watch this review. Well, let's just get into some positives firstly before I kind of crap on this movie. Well, firstly, I will say that the effects and green screen use and some CG use that the Asylum has actually put out into Planet Dune is probably some of their best work that they've ever done, and that is a compliment, especially if you've seen some of the monstrosities that they've released in the past, especially Titanic 2. So I can honestly kind of applaud them for that. At least they're kind of stepping up their game, and especially when there's centered around this Planet Dune island, which we'll get to very shortly, at least it looks somewhat sort of believable. And one of the other biggest highlights I've actually generally got to give this movie is we've got one of the main characters who's called Ronnie, played by Anna Telfer. Now, this actress has only got around 8 or 9 credits, if that, to her actual film career, but generally she was one of the most believable and probably the most believable actress in this entire movie. And she was actually a likeable character. So I actually generally think, wow, out of all the monstrosities of acting performances we get in Asylum movies, she kind of started to break the mold. Don't get me wrong, not 100% by any means, but she was definitely the most promising actress in this, because Mary Sheen Ward, however she is advertised on this poster art, whatever, she's hardly in this movie, and acting is very debatable. What is the plot essentially of Planet Dune? Well, essentially around a crew who is sent on a mission to Planet Dune. However, when they get there, things soon start to turn awry when they're attacked by deadly creatures which are known as giant sandworms. Yeah, so apart from the positives, yeah, that is about it in this movie, because let's just start this out. So Astrid is this pilot or kind of captain on this ship. Essentially at the start of this movie, she goes to save one of these members of a crew who's outside doing some kind of like space maintenance work. And when she's saving this crew member, Chase, who's played by Mary Sheen Young, is pretty much orders her saying like, look, this is against military orders, you aren't to do that, your objective is to protect the space shuttle and not this crew member. If they die, then it's kind of tough. And anyway, Astrid's kind of debating in her mind, Emily Killian's kind of debating in her mind, like, oh, what do I do? Do I do this? Do I do that? No, she's kind of not too sure what to do. So essentially, she just saved the crew member, and then she gets kind of demoted down to kind of rookie level in terms of kind of punishment instead of going to prison. And let me just say that the inside of this spacecraft looks pretty cool. At least they actually kind of went out and did something that looks somewhat sort of believable, although it's used for pretty much every single spacecraft that's used in this movie. It's that same one thing, which is just funny. It's just honestly a hilarious blast watching the same side of this space, space interior. It's used for every single interior shot, whether it's on a different ship or whatever. It's used for the same shot. Anyway, after this, she suddenly starts to meet her crew, which she's going to go to Planet Dune with. And yeah, just the CG on the spacecraft itself is atrocious. Honestly, it is just literally, you've taken it from like a PS2 graphic, you've put it into this movie, and you expect people to believe that this is a genuine spacecraft. No. So anyway, they get to Planet Dune, and they say there's some kind of like sand rock kind of cliffs that they're kind of venturing into, and yeah, somewhat of it actually was genuine. But whatever they did use this kind of sand effect, at least it was somewhat believable. They thought, well, okay, well, great, they're on a different planet. Now, one of the biggest, funniest things for me was when they get to Planet Dune, they get onto this sand, and straight away the crew, they all complain. They're like, oh wow, it's too hot on here. And it's understandable. Of course, it's a desert. So they start taking off the clothes off, so they're all in just like a vest and stuff. Typical of this island, they've always got to support a vest and not an actual t-shirt or anything. So they pretty much strip down to their vest, but yet wind is absolutely blowing in their faces and hair constantly. It's like all over the shop. Also, it's kind of like a bit like an extractor fan blowing in their direction. And then at one point, the guy had a nipple on. And I was thinking, well, surely if it's that warm, at least I can only speak for myself, that doesn't happen with getting a nipple on unless it's cold, not boiling hot. You definitely don't experience that. Yeah, they've given away this ploy of being warm immediately towards the end of it when they're using a green screen outside of like kind of the spacecraft, which you can clearly tell is a green screen. I mean, the special effects department definitely ran out of budget at that point. They said, look, stand here, just pretend that this is the spacecraft. There's no wind. It generally looks like it's a warm environment. And I was like, well, why did they not just do that at the beginning of this movie? But definitely by far one of the funniest scenes that I saw in this movie was right at the beginning of this movie, before we even get to our main crew. There's two people working on this planet Dune, and there's this one guy getting attacked by the sandworm. Yeah, just that, what you just seen, that is basically the effects in this movie. So overall, Planet Dune currently on IMDb has got a 1.8 out of 10. I generally think it deserves a little bit higher than that, because being honest with you, the Asylum movies are mainly known for one thing. They're terrible movies, but they're a good, fun blast and just not to be taken seriously. And if you are having a drink like myself, or if you're just like having some friends over and you put one of these movies on, honestly, it's generally a blast. Whether you do it where you do a drinking game when, one character's name mentioned, then you take a drink, yeah, you'd be pretty much drunk. Being honest with you, I actually had a blast with this movie. Yes, it is terrible, but I found myself generally laughing so many times. So my overall rating for Planet Dune is: enjoy this movie, take it for what it is, and I generally think you will have a good time. But yeah, if you would check out this one before Dune, I mean, your expectations for Dune is going to be like right down here, and you walk up, be like right up to the sky. guy. Anyway, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this review. I've had a blast with this and carrying on my love-hate relationship for The Asylum. And if you want to check out a playlist of all my Asylum reviews, I will leave that down in the link below. But in the meantime, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. And until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.